I think this conversation is going to be extremely valuable if you're a business owner. And if you have kind of stayed away from being the face of your brand, maybe because you're not comfortable on camera, or maybe because you never had to do it before and times have changed on you. Because we have someone here today, best-selling author of ChatGPT Profits, Jonathan Green. He's a father of four as well, which that's already a superhero in my book, a present father of four at that, a great father of four, and business owner. So I want to interview him here with you today so that you could kind of see how someone that never had to rely on being the face of their brand and really didn't have to make the choice to, did the process of doing so and the result in his business. So, Jonathan, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to spend some time with you guys.
Yeah, me too. So take us to that moment, Jonathan, where I mean, you've been in the online space for how long now?
It's 14 years. So I lost my job in February of 2010. And that's when I said, oh, guess I'm going full time with my own job.
Right. And you have never had to be the face of your brand or never chose to, and you've done pretty well.
Yeah, I've always made products for other people and done partnerships and kind of been the person behind the curtains, whether it's doing a lot of ghostwriting projects and ghostwriting products, because then I don't have all of that pressure to perform. I don't get recognized unless people see me with the people I work with. And it kind of allows you to have success without some of the other stuff that comes with it, the attention.
So I guess walk us through what made you decide, number one, to lean into AI because you've become an expert in ChatGPT and other AI tools for business owners, but also number two, going into kind of this vertical, why you chose to go from not being the face to being the face.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, my family was in a Signal 5 typhoon, which, if you don't know, that's Katrina. There's nothing higher. And the top floor of our house got ripped off, and then the second floor, and then the flood started. So me and all four of my kids got sick. We all got dysentery. And when we got to the hospital, I had 12 hours to live, and my kids all had all four 24 to 36.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so when we got there, we had had no power, no internet, no cell phone signal for a week. We were all dying, my business kept running. I had set up an automation while we were gone, and that automation made enough money, almost the exact amount we needed to pay the hospital bill to get out of the hospital the day before Christmas. And I realized that automation, which is just the earlier version of AI, is the game changer. So for me, it became my mission to show people that when you talk about passive income, it's the business keeps working even when you're not there. And people first think about this as like automated emails, and that's the beginning idea. But now with AI, there's so much more that you can do to where the business can keep working even if you're sick or even if you are taking a day off, whether you're taking a day off for a good reason or a bad reason. So in the last year, when AI finally became useful, like really became useful to create content that's usable, I saw a lot of people teaching and they kept saying, oh, ChatGPT can do this, but it can't do that. And I would say to myself, I bet that it can. And after realizing everyone who were the big teachers in the space, I could just do better, get better prompts, get better results. I started sharing some of those with just my friends and with people I was working with. And that led to me writing the book because I wanted to take everything I'd done that worked and just codify it, kind of create the instruction manual that I wish ChatGPT came with. And that really began my journey, which led to us meeting and led to me here today.
First of all, thank goodness that you and your kids are safe and healthy now. And I think like your story is such a powerful lesson for business owners because most business owners in that position, their business would not continue to run. And I think that's just a dangerous place to be in. And one that, consulting with someone like you, leveraging AI could begin to change gradually through certain automation tools and processes. What made you say, "Okay, with the book, with the AI factor in the business," what made Jonathan say, "Okay, I wanna be the face now for the first time of my business?"
I just saw that a lot of people are teaching AI the hard way. The promise of AI makes your life easier. And I see so many teachers teaching really complicated methods that almost seem like you have to use arcane symbols or only learn in Latin. And it's, well, if the promise is AI is going to be easy, why does it have to be so hard to learn? Especially when people say, oh, it's like learning a new programming language. I don't want to learn how to program just to learn to use an AI. That's the last thing I want. I want it to be easy. So I realized that the only way to help people is to start to show my face and to start to be a little bit more well known because that's how you can start to get attention and help people. My biggest fear is that someone buys someone else's book that has prompts that were written by ChatGPT. It doesn't really work. They go, oh, I guess this is a fad. And then in 2 years, when their boss says everyone who can't use AI is fired, they go, but I tried and it didn't work. So it's not their fault.
Mhm.
And that's the thing that breaks my heart is that bad teachers, and this has always bothered me, can do so much damage when they think, "Oh, I'm just making a few bucks here by getting, by not putting in a full effort book or not making a product that really works. It doesn't affect anyone, but it does affect people." And I know that in the next few years, companies are going to say things like, "If you don't know how to use AI now, you need 3 years of experience." I know a company that I work with, they already said, "Come in Monday with a plan to use AI for your job, or don't come in on Monday."
I know somebody whose niece went to an interview at, like, a Marshall's or something, she's a teenager, and she went to go get a job at Marshall's in a rural town, and they asked her, "Do you know how to use ChatGPT? Do you know how to use AI?" And, I mean, for that to be happening in a rural town for a retail job, it's just an indicator of what's to come. And I love that you basically looked at what was missing and you're like, well, I feel like I have a responsibility to people to show up and to help them. So, kudos to you. I love that.
Yeah, I'm wondering, it sounds like you really like ChatGPT. Do you think that is the perfect entry gateway into the world of AI, or do you have other ideas there?
Yeah, there's a couple of other tools that I really like, but they kind of were the first to market, and most of the other companies are just ex OpenAI employees. So I really like that. So they all kind of work the same. What's really interesting is that a prompt I create in ChatGPT will work on all of the other tools because they're made by the same people. So they're kind of using the same language. So I recommend you just try whatever feels comfortable for you. I know people that they feel much more comfortable using Claude or much more comfortable using Perplexity or much more comfortable using Stability. And they're, to me, a 1% difference. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, just use whichever one you like the most.
So once you figured it, you made the decision, Jonathan, that you're like, okay, I want to be the face. What happened next to where we met? And then we'll get into, because it's not 1, 2, 3. Like you have to put in the work, you have to go live, things like this. And some people are just not willing to do that. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I had a massive success on Pinterest last year, and I was doing really, really well on Pinterest. And then Pinterest banned all AI talk. So if you search for the word ChatGPT, they go, "Do you mean burrito?" So all of
What?
that traffic, yeah. So that disappeared, and I said, "You know what? I need to pivot." And I've recovered that traffic now. Now I'm really huge on Pinterest. It's been amazing, but
I love
it
Pinterest.
Pinterest only last year did men start using it. For the first year ever, they had growth in men. It's always been women every year. Pinterest grows like 15% every year like clockwork. And last year was the first year guys like me, I started using it, go, oh, this is cool. I've been missing out.
Yeah, it's
So
awesome
exactly.
for ideas and stuff too.
Exactly. So when that happened, I started saying, I need to choose another social media platform. I don't like Facebook because every time I'm on Facebook, I feel bad. Whenever I see what everyone posts, it's always stuff that like makes me feel depressed. I've done things on TikTok, but it's really a lot of pressure. And I don't want to be in that field. I've done that before. And so I started saying, I want to focus on LinkedIn. I see there's been some big things happening here. I've had some great relationships on there. I have a little bit of an audience on there. So I started looking for the person to learn from. And I look for certain things when I'm going to work with a coach or a leader or follow someone. And I look for someone that I admire, someone who does things that I don't understand. Because if I already know, if everything's logical, then I'm not going to learn anything. So that's kind of the stuff I looked for. I went to one of your challenges and everything was very impressive. You were showing me a lot of things about LinkedIn I didn't even realize, a lot of features they've added, and you understand the science behind it. And I like your teaching style. So I said, oh, this is somebody that I can work with. And then, golly, you've made me do a lot of things I didn't want to do, like tell that story at the beginning, go outside my comfort zone. I don't like telling that story, but it's true. And so you said I have to be authentic. And especially as someone who teaches AI, there's more of an expectation for me to use ChatGPT than anyone else to write on my posts. So I have to be like double authentic in order to fill in that gap.
Yeah, and it could be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but I mean, just with your lives and your newsletters and you just being consistent, I think is the most impressive thing. And the fact that I think you're the one person on LinkedIn that I see teaching live and interviewing live on AI as consistently as you do. So you've kind of created that that presence for yourself. I like it.
Yeah, the process has been really helpful and kind of hey, because you can see what people like and don't like and which type when they find it helpful or not helpful. And it's also led to a huge explosion on YouTube for me. I just repost my LinkedIn content and that's really grown in a way that I never thought would happen. So people on YouTube like the LinkedIn content. But the most important habit I have and the skill that I have, it's not that I'm a genius. It's not that I'm a wizard. It's that I just am consistent. I'll do every day whatever I need to do. And if I'm gonna work with someone, I'm gonna do whatever they tell me. And if it's every day, whether it's a personal trainer or coach in any area, because you can't do it all in one day. Like if I just wrote a year's worth of social media posts and scheduled them, well, it's not gonna work because over time they get more and more off. Just like you can't answer all your emails for the month on one day because some people wait in 30 days and some people get a response in 30 seconds. It doesn't work. You have to be consistent. That's the only path. And that's
Yeah,
the only thing that's
and
up with me.
and especially in your space, there's new things every day or every week. Even if you did write all those posts, they could be irrelevant in a month.
Or later that day.
Mm,
Yeah, or later that day. That's
That's
right.
actually, yeah, that's a very good topic. I'm wondering how much time do you set aside for your research, your continuing education? Because I know in order to teach efficiently, which you clearly know how to do that, you need to do that grunt work, that initial research work.
So every day I spend 1 to 3 hours on the news. I have an AI tool that sorts news stories for me, just about AI things that are happening, AI things that are cutting edge. And that's the first place I start to see if there's an announcement or a new secret feature that's come out. Because a lot of AI companies will have a major launch and not tell anyone or release a new feature in secret. And it could be at any time of the day. If I live in a different time zone, it doesn't matter. Sometimes the announcements are first thing in the morning for me. Sometimes they're late in the afternoon for me, which is middle of the night for everyone else. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So I have to stay on top of that. I follow a bunch of people on Twitter and then I follow about 7 or 8 other teachers on YouTube and watch their training videos to get ideas and inspiration for my content. So I have to constantly do that because things change all the day. There was a major announcement 4 days ago. Google released a new software and they've
Mhm.
already taken it down. So it's already
Yep.
gone because it went so bad for them. And I have to know that because everyone asks me about it.
Yeah, I heard that it went bad, and apparently, like, a top person in Google called Elon Musk last night and was like, "We're trying to fix it," or whatever. But,
It's
um, yeah, it's just that there's a little bit of drama there, but tell people how stepping out and creating more content and becoming the face of your brand has helped the business in terms of if you have a landing page with the book, and I highly recommend everyone watching. It's free. Go get the ChatGPT Profits book, learn from Jonathan and the free content that he has out there on both LinkedIn and YouTube. But what differences have you seen maybe in building an email list, which I think is one of the biggest things that people underestimate about LinkedIn, and just people reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, thank you for the content." And I know you mentioned YouTube, but let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I've always been an email marketer. Email is the foundation of my business and it's the biggest asset any company has. So it's the most important thing to me. So anytime I'm looking at a process, that's what I check. I don't look at how many new followers I get every day. I look at how many emails I get. And I get a lot more emails than I do new followers. And it's all from LinkedIn. So people have a tendency to like my content, not follow me, but subscribe to me and then email me back and forth. So that's led to really good growth there. It's been the best growth I've ever had without running paid ads. And the quality of people is much higher. So it's not as much sorting because I automatically, every time I get an email address, I run it through a tool that checks to see if it's a real or fake email address so that I only see real numbers and I don't
Mm.
email to all the wrong places. And I do all the technical stuff to make sure I have high deliverability. And that's what I look at. And then I look at how many people come to my workshops, how many people, place orders. All of that stuff has been up. So all of those numbers are very positive. I've had a really good week. And the other thing that's really interesting is the people who reach out to me. So I've always been someone who people don't realize who I am until they do. And so they're like, oh, wait, you work with who? And then they want to be my best friend when they realize that I've worked with more than a few Fortune 50 companies or ghostwritten for some really big celebrities. And that's, it is what it is. But now people reach out to me and it's very interesting and they'll say things like, wow, you were so amazing this live, or I learned so much. Like it's really good stuff I like to hear, that it's actually making a difference and the connections are really good. What's interesting about LinkedIn is that you can reach people that are a lot harder to get to. I get maybe 500 to 1,000 emails a day and I have AIs trying to sort through all of it, but I only get 10 or 20 LinkedIn DMs and that's most people. So I'm able to DM and connect with people that I wouldn't normally be able to reach out to. So really amazing people reach out to me that are massively successful, and so many cool opportunities have come my way, and it just continues to grow. Like, I'm just at the beginning of my journey, and
Yep.
it's absolutely worth it.
I love it. I love seeing you grow. And I think that's something that people get frustrated about LinkedIn because they kind of, from other platforms, think that, oh, the number of likes or the number of comments is the number of people that are paying attention. And that's not true.
Yeah, I've seen that too. And let me repeat this for our viewers because I think it is so important coming from a technologist, a futurist, someone who really embraces AI. You said that essentially your emails are in correlation with your success in your business. That is very important to know. And also, you said that ads are not necessary on LinkedIn if you do what you are doing, which is providing great value and good content. So that's really worth repeating here. And thank you for reinforcing that.
Yeah. And I've always wondered about that too, Jonathan. I've never run ads. So I've always wondered what would the quality of an inbound versus paid ad email list be? Like the difference in quality. And you just kind of answered the question.
It's a lot riskier, and I have a lot of friends that that's their business model, and it's really high. You get someone on your list, you try and sell them something quickly because they're not going to last long because there's not a relationship there. As you know, sometimes people will follow you for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years before they are ready to make a purchase. They really need to get that relationship. And some people, the first day, they're ready to make a purchase. So everyone's different. The beauty of email, especially when they come through organic, especially when they come through LinkedIn, and this is something you taught me, you said, no, they're ready now. So they're much hotter as far as engagement, as far as buyers, as far as relationships than any other platform I've gotten people from. I've had massive growth on TikTok, massive growth on Pinterest, massive growth from SEO. I've done everything. And LinkedIn, people are decision makers.
Yep.
They make a quick decision. They decide, I like you, I don't like you quickly. And it's not a slow burn. And once they're in, then they're like, okay, now I'm just waiting for the right moment to jump in. Like that jump, like when you're doing double dutch as a kid with the 2 jump ropes, they're waiting for that right moment, but they already know they're going to do it. And that's a really good thing. So I find that the quality of people is very high. People who spend time on LinkedIn tend to be going all in the same direction. They really spend most of their time thinking about business, thinking about growth, thinking about self-improvement, all things that are the direction I'm moving in. So the quality is very high, the open rates are very high, and it's such a surprise that so many more people give me their email address than want to follow me. So many more people do that than like, because it's not really a platform where people capture likes.
Hmm.
And this is something I was talking to my wife about today because we had a medical scare. I got a report from the doctor. They thought they saw something in an x-ray and something really, really bad. And I was like, if I post this, I'll get a ton of likes. I was joking about because I would never do that, but we got this. We went back to the doctor. I said, let's not freak out. We've had this before. And of course, I was a misdiagnosis for TB, which is like here, that's a death sentence. And I was like, well, I don't think I have TB because I've been misdiagnosed with it before and I've never had it. So we get the second x-ray and everything's fine. But that's what I was thinking, if you post this on Facebook or Instagram, you're going to get so many likes, right? Because people are chasing clout. Like, I don't want to get famous for the things that have happened to me. I want to be successful for the things I've done. And LinkedIn is built around that. It's not really about getting as many likes or upvotes. It's really about real engagement. And what's interesting is someone leaves a comment on LinkedIn, I can message them and then they'll talk to me.
Right.
That's not true on most other social media platforms. They're like, wait, I don't want to actually talk to you. I want to give you a like from a distance.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, what you just said is so true. Because on LinkedIn, they won't comment. Like, if you're listening, what you have to understand is a lot of people on LinkedIn don't engage because their activity is public. So if I like your post or if I comment and I'm a CEO and I really don't want people to know what moves I'm thinking about making or who I'm learning from, I probably will not engage openly. I'll just watch. When somebody does comment back, they're basically saying, hey, it's okay if everyone in my network knows that I'm engaging with you. And they really are like 99% likely to respond to a message and to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. Most people now who connect with me, they start with a comment and then they're like, hey, let's do a virtual coffee. I'm like, I didn't even know what that was. So I had to learn that that meant Zoom meeting. I was
Yeah,
like,
they just want to see you. They just want to meet.
and that's led to a bunch of new clients and customers in the past few weeks, like really people jump in right away. And a lot of them are people who don't make any comment.
Right.
So when I first looked at LinkedIn, I was like, oh, no one on LinkedIn does anything because nothing has a comment, nothing has a like. But the difference is the quality, right? So it's like not about volume. Whereas I know people that have 100,000 TikTok followers have never made a dollar, never gotten a customer
Yeah.
because there's not a correlation between growth and success because it's a popularity platform. Like I'm not popular on LinkedIn. Like it's not a popularity contest, it's a quality contest. And I
Mhm.
have a much better chance in one of those. So I like much prefer to be here on this platform, just telling my story, showing people what works, talking about what gets me excited. Cause I love talking about AI. I love talking about all the things I'm doing and how it can really help people. That stuff gets me excited.
Mhm.
And it's a place where people want the same thing. People want success for each other. You don't see a lot of like people talking bad about each other or sabotaging each other, which I love. It's like the way the internet used to be 20 and 30 years ago. It was like a positive place.
Yeah, it's positive culture. They're not, and that's the other thing that I tell people. LinkedIn's actually the perfect place to start because you're not gonna like if anyone even tries to hate openly on you, that's just not the culture of the platform. People don't go for that. They look down on that. It's not like Facebook where people are like bashing each other in the comments. So I mean, I think that's great, and I think that what you've done is incredible, and I think that talking about how to automate part of a person's business is so critical because I want people to understand you're building your brand and your business, and you are a husband and a father of 4. Just husband and father of 4 is a lot. So let's talk about how someone can start to, if they're a one person business, they don't want any employees, or maybe they have a VA or a remote team. What are some of the first things that maybe they could start doing with ChatGPT or some of these AI tools to be both present in their business and with their family? Because you're doing that.
The first thing you do, and the first thing I did is look at what do I do every week that's repetitive, that is not super important, but I have to keep doing it. And whether it's writing podcast show notes or updating my blog or whatever those things are, responding to emails, those different tasks that we have to do. I said, okay, this is a task that if I can fix this, it saves me a lot of time. It's tempting to do like something cool, like learn how to make like really cool thumbnails. And that's like 10 minutes a week of time. I want something that will give me back 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week. If it's a 2 hour a day task I do every day, that's 10 hours a week back that I can spend
Mhm.
on the beach with my wife or my kids or watching them after school when they're doing their taekwondo tournaments. That's the stuff I want to be doing. So I look for, and it's the boring stuff, but that's the best stuff to replace because that's what I don't want to do anyway. So for me, it was editing. It's the first thing I learned how to do. I edited my entire book using the AI. So normally it takes me, it was like, I was like, all right, it's going to take me 2 weeks to edit this book. And I thought, wait, I wonder if I can get ChatGPT to do this for me. And it did it in one day while I was watching movies because I didn't have to pay 100% attention to it. I just had to check in to make sure it hadn't drifted. Same thing for everything after a podcast. I love interviewing people, but everything happens afterwards, making the clips, choosing the quotes,
Right.
sending them a message about when the episode's coming out. I forget to do all those things because it's a lot of work and a lot of grind. And now all of that process is automated for me. So it takes me about 1 hour per podcast episode to get everything done that used to take me a week. So doing those things, whatever is the thing that like you find a little bit annoying or that takes a bunch of your bandwidth, that's the first task to push off the plate. And there's a process for every single one of those things. So for each person here, it's probably something a little bit different, but that's the place to start. So you get that big win. So you don't need to say, oh, I need to find time to learn ChatGPT. It's like, no, I'll give you the time. Let's learn the first task. And then from then on out, you're reinvesting the same time. You're playing with the house's money.
And is this what you help people do? Like identify things that they could replace and then have a process to leverage certain AI tools to automate for them?
That's exactly what I do. I take people through this process to figure out what to do first, and then I just give you an SOP with exactly how to do it with my prompts, copy and paste. And I update those all the time. I redid all of my SOPs this week. So I'm constantly updating them and making them shorter. One of my SOPs now is only one step. It used to be 30. I'm like, it's just gotten so automated that it's easier and easier. So I'm constantly focusing on that. That's really what I spend most of my time doing is either updating my trainings or creating content for LinkedIn or just spending time with my family.
I love it. And what if someone can use ChatGPT but doesn't have coding skills? I mean, what kind of skills do we need to be able to do this and implement these SOPs?
That's a really great question. So I don't come from that school of thought. I'm not a programmer. I
Neither
only
am
use one
I.
prompt. So I use one prompt to do everything. I use my master prompt, and here's what it is. ChatGPT, this is my goal. What information do you need from me? So this is how I do. I said, ChatGPT, I'm trying to figure out who's my ideal customer. What information do you need from me? And what this does is it changes the back end of ChatGPT. It switches it into genius mode. Now I don't have to be smart anymore because I don't have to say the perfect prompt because now it has permission to tell me when I've given it bad information because I said it's allowed to ask me questions or if it doesn't have enough information. Because normally it's not allowed to do that. In its instructions, it has to assume it gets one chance to answer every question, which means it can't ask for more information. It can't say, I don't have enough information. It can't say you've asked a bad question. It's not allowed to. This is why people run into trouble. But you switch in its mode where it asks questions. Now I don't have to write a really smart prompt anymore because it will tell me what information it needs. And sometimes it asks too much. And I'll say, ask me one question at a time, and it will make it easier for me. And now it's a conversation. And this removes all of the pressure because it lets it be the genius. It lets it ask multiple questions, and then you don't have to be smart anymore. It does what AI is supposed to do. So all of the prompting guides, you don't need them anymore. That's my one prompt that does everything.
I love it. And how do you, because there's probably people with kids who are very ambitious listening right now, how do you turn off the business brain and be completely present with the 4 kids brain?
I have a bunch of policies that
Okay.
I create. One of my rules is I'm not allowed to lock the door. Believe me, sometimes I want to, because sometimes my kids want to have a fight in here while I'm doing a really important interview or while I'm recording something, and that's their favorite time to be loud. I have a friend who said, "Oh, my kids are always quiet when I'm recording." I said, "I don't understand how that's possible. That's not my world." So if it's a really important meeting or really important project or potential client, that's when something's going to go crazy. But that's my first policy. My second is that anytime they ask me to go swimming, I have to go no matter what. So those 2 things guarantee that I'm always present for them. And the other thing is that people always ask, like, it's nighttime right now. My kids are asleep. It's 10:30. They say, "Oh, why do you work at night?" I'm like, that way I can be available during the day. I'm there every morning, no matter how late I am, with phone calls and things when they wake up until they go to school. I'm here when they get home from school. It's like, that's the point of being able to work from home, is being present. So I made that a major part of my decision. It's why we live where we live. Most of our decisions are built around giving the kids a better life. Like, that's my driving force. Sometimes it's easy to get so caught up in the grind, right? And then, like, I'm working on a really cool project that I forget why I'm doing that. So I do have to pull back all the time. And the best way for me is to make rules or policies that say, oh, if this happens, I have to do that. So those are things I did. Like, I've already watched a movie with my kids tonight and spent some time with them, and played basketball with my youngest son this morning because he's finally able to almost get it in the hoop. And, like, that's a big deal for him. So those are part of it. And then you have to figure out what success means for you. For some people, success is just a dollar sign. And a lot of people admire, like, billionaires. And I said, well, that billionaire made all that money, then they had to give away half of it because they lost their marriage, and their kids changed their name and they hate their dad so much they changed their names. I don't want that. Like, I would rather not have that level of success because that's not a price I'm willing to pay. I don't want my kids to grow up hating me or making TikToks about how I was a bad dad, like all of those things that people do now. I see those, I'm like, oh gosh, I do not want that. So I got to be like a double good dad, because now kids can, like, get public revenge on you. So that kind of is my driving force. And everything I do is about spending maximum time with them and being there for every moment. I was there for each of their first words was dada. I won 4 out of 4 times.
Oh
I
my
won a
gosh,
college.
Jonathan has like a scoreboard.
It's just,
Wow, 4 out of 4 is a lot.
I mean, well, they all love their mom more than me. So she's winning overall. So I only have the small victories along the way, and those I have to hold on to.
That's funny. Do you leverage AI for anything to organize with the kids and with the family? Or no? Or is it just like business?
We're really a non-tech family, as crazy as that sounds. Like, if it wasn't my job, I would never be online. Like, I don't like the internet at all. So I'm actually, that's why I live on a small island in the middle of nowhere. We're very face to face. But everyone in my family has, like, a superpower. My wife learned how to cook from YouTube videos, which I didn't know was real. I
I
thought
love it.
people watch those videos, but you don't actually then become capable of making those recipes. I've always thought that, even from cooking shows, right? I was like, that's entertainment. You can't actually learn from them. Turns out you can.
No,
My
you can.
daughter, yeah. And my daughter, our new house we moved into last year, the house we live in now, after another incident, had a piano in it. We fixed the piano, and she's learning piano from YouTube as well. She'll watch these videos where it just shows which key is playing, and she's learned, like, a shockingly large number of songs. So I have started giving her some AI tools to help her kind of go to the next level, but she found her own path. And that's one of the things about kids. We've had some challenges with our kids where they're not like me, or they like different things. And people say, oh, don't you want your kids to be a tech person like you? I'm like, no, I'd rather they just be happy. If my daughter becomes a professional fighter, she's really good at Taekwondo. She's won a bunch of tournaments. She's trying to get permission to compete internationally.
That's
She's
cool.
11 years old, and she wants to compete in the knockout division, which my wife is very against. And I was like, well, it just depends who's getting knocked out, really. It's the other
Oh
girl
my
I'm kind of
God.
okay with. My kids don't wanna grow up and be me. Like, I didn't wanna grow up and be my dad. Most of us don't. We go into different paths. That's why family businesses rarely pass down because kids wanna do different things. So, a huge part of what I do is figuring out how to give them the tools and the resources they need to pursue whatever their dreams are, and my kids are not like me. One of my sons likes Minecraft, but that's it. Otherwise, they're not on the computer, they're not playing video games. They're really outdoor kids.
I love it. No, that's awesome. I think just by sharing how you kind of organize yourself in the business and then also because that's what it is all about. It's about being successful in your business and having things organized and automated to a certain extent and showing up and having a routine so that when you do have the opportunity to spend time with your family, you're not constantly worried about all the other stuff. So I think that this is very helpful for listeners and thank you for sharing that. Shankar, go ahead.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, you mentioned something that really stuck with me. You basically said, well, there's a price to pay for this dream life that I am living. And I like that you really know what the price to pay is. But what is also interesting is that you seem to be able to basically all the fears that I think a lot of people have when it comes to AI and technology, which is this distancing from your family, this isolating, this not being in touch with nature, all of that, you are actually able to use AI and technology to achieve the exact opposite of that bias. So, I mean, to me, that is super inspiring. And I know that a lot of people watching this will say, okay, well, maybe I should be a little bit open minded and learn from this person who can actually help me go in the right direction. And that kind of connects to a question I have for you in terms of AI and connecting it to being the face of a brand and being present in life, in real life. How do you see the future going with recent developments? And how can you help people find that balance, which you seem to really have that?
Yeah, right now there's a big pendulum swing. Everyone got super into AI last year and started using it wrong. We've all seen it on our LinkedIn feeds where it's the same post over and over again and just like one or two words change. And it's really turns me off, right? When I see that, I go, well, I'm not gonna read that. It's just an AI thing. If I want something from ChatGPT, I'll talk to ChatGPT, right? I want something from the person. And we're now swinging the other direction. That's why authenticity in real videos and content like this is what's working because people want to know it's a real person. They don't want to feel like they're tricked. So the most important thing is to use it as a tool to help you, is not to replace yourself. Whenever someone talks about replacing themselves with AI, I know it's the wrong mindset. That's not the right idea. It's not you don't want a robot there tricking people that looks like you, a robot clone. What you want is a robot worker and you moved yourself into management. So if AI
Mhm.
writes an email, I read it before I send it. So I'm still part of the process. It just instead of taking me 30 minutes to write the email, it takes me 3 minutes to read it. Still saves me 90% of the time. Every social media post, I'll say, give me 10 tweets about this idea. And I'll choose the one that sounds authentic to me, or I'll change some words around. That's really where you kind of work in cooperation with the AI and you still can maintain your voice, but be faster and it accelerates you. So I can do anything faster than anyone else and implement ideas faster because someone will come to me an idea and I'll say, okay, that'll take me 2 hours. Like, what? I thought it would take you 3 weeks. I'm like, well, I'm accelerated, but it's me working with AI. And that's where you get the real magic. So I always tell people never judge like a tool or process by its worst use cases, which is the people that are using it all wrong right now to just create content they don't read because nobody wants that. I don't want to read an email that you didn't write. That doesn't feel very good. But if I
Right.
write it with AI and it still carries my message and I tweak the parts that need to match what I feel, then it's okay, right? I'm okay with that as the recipient and the sender. That's the measurement that I use. So you can use it in really great ways to help you brainstorm. And you could also create policies. I work with people that say, okay, I'll use AI to write an outline, but never to write a blog post. Even if I edit it, no way.
Mhm.
That's fine. So you can create your own rules. Every single person I work with says the same thing. I don't want to lose my voice.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm never going to let that happen. That's exactly my policy. So that's exactly the mindset I come from.
I love that. And what would you say to a business owner who may know that they should become the face of their brand, but is a little bit afraid or just doesn't really know what to do? And then also, what would you say to the business owner that wants to automate and leverage AI, but just thinks that it's very overwhelming and that they don't have the tech skills to start?
So as far as becoming the face of your brand, there's always a reason for inaction. There's always a reason why you shouldn't try. There's always a reason something might happen. This is something I deal with when I work with authors. Like, what if I get a bad review? You're going to. You're going to get a bad review. There's going to be someone who doesn't like your book. Go look at the Harry Potter books. They have like 1 million reviews, and each of us 10,000 one-star reviews.
Mhm.
Every book, no matter how popular, there's someone who hates it. Every movie, no matter how popular, somebody hates it. It's the worst thing you've ever seen, and they want to make sure the person who made the movie knows.
Mhm.
So it is part of the game where people are going to say things, but what you'll find out is that you're capable of so much more than you realize. You realize that things that you thought you couldn't handle, like a negative review or a bad comment or whatever, you realize, oh, it doesn't bother me at all. When it actually happens, it's the perception, the thought of it happening that's so much worse. And once you've experienced it, you go, oh, I thought it would be worse. And you realize it's not that big of a deal. I've had tons of hate mail in my career way back in the day, and I got used to it because it was always weird. And once you get the first one, you go, oh, this person, I used to get tons of hate mail about being a vegan, like a ton, and I'm not a vegan. Like I would get so much about, you're the worst vegan I've ever seen, you're the fattest vegan I've ever seen. And I was
My
like,
God,
well,
what the heck?
yeah. So I got through it. Like I that happened to me a long time ago, and I was like, well, I'm not a vegan. I don't know who they think I am. It must be a different person. Maybe my name is very common, so I don't know. But it's not that big of a deal when something bad goes out, because then you get an email. I got an email once from a lady who said, your book saved my marriage.
Right.
Your book saved my relationship with my kids. So when I weigh those two things against each other, it's when you have the ability to help people and you don't, I say, well, what if you had the cure for a major disease and you didn't want to tell anyone because you're shy? Well, then you're a monster. Like it's not just, you have a moral obligation. If what you teach can actually help people, you have a moral obligation to get out there. Whether you're a coach or you have a cure, if your thing works, whatever you're selling, then you need to tell people, because you can actually help people and change someone's life. Even if it's one life, even if you just save one life, then that's what you should be doing. And as far as like technology, I get that. That's why I try to start with, you don't need to know any coding. You only need to know one prompt. You don't have to pay for it. That's my big secret prompt. Like I give it away. I don't have a problem with that, because it's really then thinking, okay, how can I use this in a way that's congruent with me? You don't have to be high technology. That's the whole point of AI, is that you don't have to know how stuff works anymore. To learn Photoshop takes like 2 years, right? To
Right.
learn to edit videos well, it takes like 4 years. To learn to master ChatGPT to be a top 1% user takes 8 hours. If you can take one day off work or a Saturday or one day a week for a week, you can become as good at it as me. That's all it takes. So, and that's what's cool about it, is that we think it's hard, but it's actually not. So the idea that you need to be good at programming technology, it's just not true. That's a misconception that other people put out there to make it seem like their training is more valuable. And it's not true. It's easy, and it can be easy, and it can make your life easier. And that's why it's something you should do. It'll give you more time, not less time.
I honestly couldn't have said it better myself. Where can people get the book?
If you go to servenomaster.com/gift, you can have a free copy of my bestseller, ChatGPT Profits. You're more than welcome to go to Amazon. It's on the bestseller charts right now, and pay the full $25. I will never say don't do that. If you want to support me, it's cool. But I appreciate you guys giving me your time. We've been going for a long time here, and anyone who's spent time, obviously, I want to say thank you for listening to my stories and spending time with me. So you can go to servenomaster.com/gift. And if you leave a comment in the comments, I'll check those right after this call, and I'll message to everyone in the link as well to make sure you have it. Obviously, I want you to read it and really experience it and just see what's possible, because it's the instruction manual that I wish ChatGPT had come with.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, sometimes you have to go a little bit outside your comfort zone to grow. Just like the first time at the gym, it really hurts that the day afterwards, but then the results are worth it. So I just have had a really great experience doing projects with you and learning from you. And so I appreciate you spending time with me. It means a lot to me.
I love it. I appreciate you too. I'm proud of you and what you've built. And like you just said, you're just starting. It's inspiring, especially because you're also so present with your family and your wife, your 4 children, and building the business. So it just shows people what's possible. God bless you, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.